What's up guys, my name's Diachronic here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be talking about my current Nightfall High Score for Garden World, which is out right now. If you want to try this Nightfall on Prestige difficulty, you can go out there and see if you can beat my score. It's not an incredibly large score at 112,000, however, I would like to mention that it is legit. There is no lost sector grinding whatsoever, and secondly, it was only on a 20 handicap. We've been trying to do this thing lately where we try to get the boss kill within the time limit of 18 minutes and sometimes even 15 minutes in the case of the inverted spire, to see how many points we can get a lower handicap. This allows us to go through it a lot faster, a lot easier on the boss, and it also means that we don't have to do as many runs and pull out our hair as much. And the reason why we do this is because you'll start to notice as you increase the handicap up from 20 or 15, things start to become significantly harder, where you're getting a little bit more one shot than you were before, and that little bit more starts to make you die a little bit more than before, and it causes your entire team to wipe pretty consistently. Or in general, just be dying over and over, and you have to wait that 30 seconds to respawn consistently. I believe when we tried going for it, we went for a 25 handicap and then a 30 handicap, and we actually ended up getting lower scores than our 112 on a 20, just because of the fact of how many times we were dying, how long it took to kill certain enemies, how we had to run away from enemies more often instead of brute forcing a lot of them down. And in general, it's pretty significantly obvious that once you pass that 20 handicap threshold, it starts to become a totally different type of game. I think in the future, I'll try to go for those higher handicaps, maybe pop a 45 and see exactly how high we can go. I was trying to get to higher ones than 112 this week, but it was just some time conflicts with my boys in the CEST time zone, and the plus 9 hours on me, so it was really difficult to schedule that out. But I just wanted to show you this because it actually is a really good run. It's really clean, it's really fast. And it's just a fun thing to see. If you're wondering what we're using, we had 2 Arc Striders and a Tether. Tether obviously had Orpheus Rigs. The Arc Striders had the Radiant Flux to make it last longer. And it's pretty obvious what they are. The Striders are for slaying, and the Tether is for orbs. Now, the reason why I forwent the, I don't know if it's forwent or forgo, I had to forgo the Titan is because having 2 Pulse Grenades is really not the same as the Arc Strider. The Arc Strider just has such a long super, it's incredibly useful in almost every scenario. I know that if you smash, there's like a wake of explosions where you smash that, but it still just doesn't do as much damage. It doesn't hit as many enemies. You can't clear as many enemies. I think you can maybe kill like half or a third as many enemies as the Arc Strider can. It's actually kind of ridiculous how long that super lasts for. And not only that, it's very effective on single targets like the boss. In this Nightfall, you can't actually hit the boss with it, but technically the Titan would be better with the pulse grenades on the boss because you can just lay it on him. But in this Nightfall, damaging the boss is actually somewhat of a bad thing. If you damage him too fast, he's going to spawn multiple sets of enemies and rotate, and it's going to basically wipe you every time. So in this one, having pulse grenades for the boss, unless you can totally nuke him down immediately, is often very bad. If you want to know what weapons we're using, I think I was using the Better Devils, the Mononon, and the Wardcliff Coil. Alternatively, I've been switching in the Conspirator or the Pleiades for the Mononon in the secondary slot, and in the primary slot, I think I was swapping out some Nameless Midnight. I think also in the secondary, I use Uriel Gift. I like to mix it up, change it up. I also don't like to spend so many so many materials and resources to change the type on my Mononon every single week, so I like to change it up a bit. But if you want to know the best combo, Better Devils primary, Mononon secondary, and Wardcliff as your third, and alternatively, a Linear Fusion Rifle as your third, which is a Tarantula, which is pretty good, by the way, you can get from Asher. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to let the rest of the gameplay play out for the whole rest of it. If you have questions on any particular part, just leave a timestamp down below and say, hey, I was wondering why you did this thing here or how you survived that. I can definitely answer a lot of questions, and I'm sure it'll be something like, how did you survive that? Oh, we had Masterworks. We have 15% more resistance than you do, probably. And stuff like that. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you want to see these in the future, and let me know if you want to play. Come over to my Twitter or my comments section or my Twitch, and we do Nightfalls every single week going for high scores, as well as farming for the unique item. We did get the Sparrow last week, and it's a cool looking Sparrow, but it definitely wasn't worth it. But if you guys come around, maybe it'll be worth it. We can have some fun times, share some stories, and get in trouble. Anyways, I've been your host, Diachronic, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
That module was hiding a path. The root mind is trying to keep us from that spire. Smart.
You see that beam? It's controlling this entire region through a series of modules and arc energy. After the Guardian destroyed the root mine the first time, we spent weeks taking the simulation apart. The Vex have rebuilt it entirely. You really messed things up this time, Osiris.
It was a risk I had to take, Sagira. The Guardian has this handled.
Shielded Minotaur incoming. One of those modules must be generating the field. Guardian down! It's like you've done this before. Guardian
If
down.
only a certain warlock would stop undoing her work.
I'm contending with Vex in 3 parallel simulations. I'll compose a detailed apology at a later date.
No, he won't. When you destroyed the original root mine and left, we programmed demolition charges into every floor of this spire and reduced it to bits of data. It's unsettling to know that the Vex have rebuilt all of this so quickly.
The root mind is reaching out, trying to take control from me. I've isolated your simulation from the rest of the forest, but I can only do so much to keep a Vex mind in check.
Hold on. It won't be around for much longer. just pulled the plug on this Spire's ARC network. The Vex are pretty angry.
I would be too.
Excuse us while we, kill them. Guardian, down. Guardian down. Guardian down. root mine has been dismantled. What's next? We're putting out fires all over the place today.
I'll be honest, I can't remember where we left you. We're in the middle of 3 separate simulations.
We just met the biggest Vex Cyclops I've ever seen, and we cracked it in half.
Oh, Dendron, right. You're so good at cleaning up Osiris's messes. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. Now get out of there before the simulation shuts down.